Hey, it's Alicia. Good morning. So, I hope nobody thinks that when, I'm doing those videos where I'm sitting in the chair and talking about things that, I'm trying to say my life is 100% better, because it's not. So I'm going to just record a little bit of, just my everyday thing, sitting and talking and giving advice and all that. I'll talk here and there and stuff, but this is me. This is the real me. And, I always said, people used to say to me years ago, Alicia, if you had the chance to make a movie of your life or write a book or documentary, you should do it. Well, first of all, I don't know nothing about technical stuff. I grew up in an era where that just hadn't become a big thing yet. And, I learned the basics and stuff, but I still have trouble learning, computers and all this fancy things these people do with thumbnails and commercials. And it's some of us, us older we just don't, it's hard for us to do. So, and I hope I don't offend anybody by this, so I'm sorry. It's just, I have to have one. It calms my nerves, makes me feel better. For those of you who are offended, well, you don't have to watch this video, and I apologize. And it's not something I do like a chimney, if you want to put it that way. So just give you an idea of my daily life, starting from the morning, waking up. And yes, I changed my hair. You're going to notice that a lot about me. I change my hair quite often, and it's not because I have some kind of, somebody said to me, you look like you're confused, like you have an identity confusion or so. I can't remember exactly how they put the words, but it was along those lines. I laughed and I'm like, well, yeah, it probably looks that way. Like I don't know what I want. Like I'm confused. But no, I'm not. That's just me. I have to change things up. I am not one that can sit there and do the old same old all the time. Okay, I gotta have variety. That saying, variety is the spice of life? Well, it is true, and not just with men and their cheating issues. Anything. I can't, I'm like a free bird. I have to just be able to do what I want when I want, and I cannot stand people who try to control you or make it feel like you're being controlled. It's like, back off. I don't tell you how to live your life and try to force it on you. So stop nitpicking at me all the time. I can't stand nitpicking. If you don't like it, you don't have to look at me. You don't have to come around me. You don't have to talk to me. But I get depressed like everybody else. I get lonely. Yeah. Who doesn't? But I will say that I do know who I am. I do know what I want. And at this moment in my life, right now, I just want people back to freak off. Leave me alone. Let me be me. I'm not hurting no one. I'm not. I really ain't. So, anyway, this is the beginning of my day. And this is what it's like every day, and has been for the past few years, since I've been single, since we broke up, Jared and I. So, yeah. I'm not, it may look right now at this moment like I, am like sad, missing being with somebody, whatever. No, I used to, yeah, and that's normal for everyone. But really, I'm not. And I gotta turn the AC on because it's getting hot. So... yeah, it's getting hot in here. It's supposed to be in the 60s today. But yeah, I wake up, take the dog out, which I've already done. I have to make my coffee, which I've already did before I started this, and do my hair. Sorry, yeah, I'm tired. I seem tired all the time. You know, it sucks getting old, and I do talk to myself a lot, but it's not because I'm hearing anything or, you know, whatever. It's just because most of the time I'm alone. Literally, physically, actually alone. Like in this room, alone. So, but, oh, dog hears something. She's jumping up. Shy, calm down, babe. Don't get all freaked out. You're alright. I did turn the AC on, baby girl. So, that out. And yes, I keep a window cracked because of the dog. And I don't smoke a lot, so it doesn't get like humongously smoking here like some people do. And Jerry's room's across the hall. His mother's is on the other side of me. Oops, I think I just heard the gate fall because he just woke up and I took the dog out. I have to gate it so she don't attack the other dog because they will physically try to rip each other apart. Last time it happened was about a year ago, so since then we really have to take a lot of precautions, and he's not willing to let go of one of them, which I get because we've gotten attached, so I keep Shy a lot, and when he's at work, his mother is on the other side of my wall, in the next room over. She keeps Lou. And I usually rotate taking the dogs in and out. Sometimes she helps me. She hasn't been feeling well. She's been going through some health issues, which I will not discuss without her permission on here. And so have I. You know, getting old sucks. It really does. I have, my spine is so messed up. My L6, was it C6, 7, I don't know, I can't remember now exactly what they said, but it's in my neck, and I have bone spurs all through it, and I am shrinking. I was, you know, when you hit a certain height, they say when you're done growing as a young person. Well, I've always been 5'7" since I stopped growing, and recently, about a couple years ago, they checked my height, and I am now 5'5". So, yeah, we do shrink as we get older, especially if you have bone issues, which I do. I got spurs all through my neck, and the doctor actually took out a dummy skeleton to show me what it looks like. So that was kind of neat because nobody's ever done that for me. You know, they don't always explain things so in detail. So I was very pleased that she actually took the time to go find a skeleton dummy at the office and bring it in and show me as she's explaining to me what is happening inside my body with my spine, my neck, and everything. And, you know, at the top here in the back of your neck, you've got these bones that go around. Well, inside those is bone joints. And mine are covered and severely damaged with bone spurs and have been for many, many years. I mean, I remember in my 30s and on that every time I turn my neck, and I'm hearing it right now, it's just crunching like ground bone. And that is a real thing. And people used to think when I bring it up, oh my God, Alicia, that don't even make sense. What are you talking about? That sounds so awful. That don't even make sense. But I wasn't kidding, because the doctors finally, they did MRIs, they did x-rays, they did full body CAT scans, head to toe, and yes, that I wasn't making it up, and it turns out it was the bone spurs in there. That's what I'm hearing. And my bones have are so severely aged and crooked, I guess, that I'm in my 50s. Well, the doctor, the way she explained it, your bones are the age of 10 years older, like some woman in her 60s, severely damaged, and I'm only in my 50s, so 10 years older than they've aged. And I am shrinking, and it is rare, but it does happen. I asked her if there's any cure, because everybody keeps thinking, oh, they can fix it like everything else. No, she said, unfortunately, no. There is no cure for this. It's something you're going to have for the rest of your life, and it's only going to get worse. And, excuse me, and she said that, we can try to, physical therapy stuff, exercises at home, muscle relaxers, whatever. But there is no cure. There's no surgery that's going to fix this. It's just not. So, and a lot of people don't seem to understand that when I try to tell them, when I come home from the doctors and they'd ask, what happened. So, yeah. All she can do is try to get through it. And that was, it's been a couple of years since they finally found that out. But since then, I've gotten to the point where it's hard to get up in the morning. I can't even move my fingers. They took x-rays of my hands. My joints, where your knuckles are, there's like spaces like that. Oh, can you see? Like, oop, okay, that much in between, separating. How is that possible? I don't know. But I saw it with my own eyes when the hand, foot, knee doctor, whatever you call it, took the x-rays and sat down and showed it to me in the office and went over it with me. He told me that my legs are getting weaker instead of stronger because I have what they call athlete's head, I guess, runner's knee, they call it, but it's basically overworking because I was always on my feet, always exercising, so I overdid it, basically. You can over-exercise. It will make you weaker, not stronger, and cause damage. And my elbows, they call it tennis elbow, same thing. So, and I remember looking at the doctor going, how is it possible that getting all this exercise is only going to start to make me weaker? Well, he said it happens. That's, a lot of athletes get it, tennis players, joggers, sports players, they all, a lot of them get it. Well, I have it. And I was never into sports or anything like that, but somehow I ended up with it. I just overdid it, I guess. And I was always a hard worker. Remember I talked about work ethics and stuff. Well, yeah, I worked doing CRMA and assisted living with the elderly with dementia for years, 10 years. And I was always pulling doubles, people calling out left and right, especially the younger people. No offense to younger girls, but it's an actual fact. I lived it, I worked with it. Anyways, I'm not saying you're all like that, so don't take it that way. But anyways, so instead of working my normal 8-hour shift, I was working 16-hour shifts. I was working my days off. I never got a day off, hardly. It was very rare if I did. I didn't know what to do with myself because I got so used to being at work more than I was at home for 10 years, And then, at one point in my life, I ended up taking a position of living in the apartment at one of the facilities I started out at for the first 8-9 years that I did this. And so I was in charge of everything. I was in charge of, because I lived there in the, staff apartment upstairs. And so I would just have to go downstairs. The nice part was that in the wintertime, I didn't have to try to drive through storms to get back and forth to work and stuff. But the downside, eventually, I started to see, which I was warned, well, don't you think that might become an issue? No, I really didn't believe it, because I was so close with my boss, and, I love my job so much, but I failed to see the downside of it, and basically I was stuck there. That became my entire life. I had no outside life at all. Completely from that point on, for like 4 years that I chose to live there and do that part of the job. So I was in charge of making sure at night the whole house was safe, taken care of, locked. The residents were safe and taken care of, and I will not discuss anybody's name or the people that were being there to take care of. Nothing. I'm not going to say any more than this, because HIPAA, even though I don't do this anymore, and it's been, a few years, I'm not going to do that. So, their privacy is important. But I will talk about me. So, and I will keep it at limits so that nobody else gets involved, and I will not mention any names, or details that shouldn't be mentioned. So, yeah, it just, so I was like 24/7. And in the beginning it was fine, but then, I started to have issues where I felt like everything was being thrown at me. Even my days off that I was supposed to be getting suddenly was being, I felt like it was all being thrown on my shoulders. If somebody didn't do their job that day when it was supposed to be my time off, so it was like I was always pulled in. Well, why didn't this get done? I don't know. I was upstairs. It was supposed to be my time off. Like, I'm supposed to know everything. Well, I'm sorry, but I unless you put cameras in my apartment, I can't be there every second to answer those questions. But it turns out this person was going through something personal at home that I didn't realize how severe it was at the time, and we will not discuss that. Anywho, so yeah, it just became too much. And I did it for about 4 years. It was 2021 when I just had enough. I couldn't do it. I was having nervous breakdowns. I was having panic attacks. My phone would ring or ding from a text, and I would instantly, not even looking at the phone to see who it was, it's like I just go into a instant panic attack. I could be driving down the road, my phone would ring. I would have to pull over because I was going into panic attacks. It's like, oh, it's got to be something at work. And 9 times out of 10, yes, it was. So, yeah, it's like, it just, consumed me more than I expected. And I became severely burnt out. And I tried to say, no, I'm going to take my day off, but I'd always feel like I was being guilted into saying yes, because if somebody calls out in that line of work, it's like a hospital or any other doctor's office. You cannot just take the day. You just can't have nobody working there. That you're on the front line. That's what they called us, frontline workers as well. During COVID, because we were taking care of people. We were helping people in that way. And so it just became to the point where I got burned out. And so I had to quit. Well, that meant I had to give up the apartment, because you could only stay there if you were working there. And they had built another apartment for just renting out to other people, but it was already taken. So I had to leave that area completely. And that was right when we went through our breakup at the same time. And my menopause, it was getting worse, and it was a lot happening to me that a lot of people didn't understand. So, in saying that, the dog is going nuts because I think she hears her Daddy outside the door. So I am going to stop for this moment, but I shall return, and I will see you all soon to finish this life story of mine.